Yeah. It's a good point. We've had one Tuesday to this point, so hopefully we'll get on a little bit of a routine. But appreciate everybody's flexibility. Obviously had a tough but great day yesterday in Maryland with the Bresee family. What a beautiful celebration of Ella. It was amazing, and we had a lot of players that were able to go, and everyone who spoke just did an amazing job of really capturing the beauty of Ella, the joy of Ella, and what she meant to so many people. So it was a little different day. Obviously practiced late last night, but appreciate everyone's flexibility in getting together today. We're excited about our first division road game. Obviously we've got one conference win, and that's always great. But now you get into division play. We got 5 straight division games coming up, and they're critical. And to be able to go on the road and win is what it takes if you're going to win your league. You got to win on the road. And so our next goal is to win the division, and it's already in progress. Obviously after 3 games, as we're building our team and 1 conference game already, but. This is a huge game for us. It's a huge game for Wake. This is 2 good football teams that are both improving, and both teams want the exact same thing. So it comes down to being able to execute and do the things that you have to do to execute your plan to win. And Wake is an outstanding team. Dave is a friend. I've probably spent more time with Dave Clawson over the last 3 years than probably any coach. And when I say spend time, either in person, but a lot of phone calls, a lot of conference calls, a lot of Zoom calls, and he's just one of the great people in the profession, and he does an amazing job. I mean, they evaluate well, they teach, coach, and develop well, and this is one of the more veteran teams out there. Certainly, his most veteran team that he's had. I mean, this is a really good group. Rarely does Wake beat itself. You have to beat them. I mean, they rarely beat themselves. They've got some uniqueness as far as what they do on both sides of the ball, and you've got to really. Be disciplined, but starts, with the guys in the trenches. I mean, they're really good on both sides. I mean, our offensive line, they've played 1 million snaps, got a bunch of active dudes on that D-line. They flat get after you. They rush the passer. They're physical in the run game. Linebackers are really good. They've always been one of the better secondaries. As long as I've been the head coach, they've always had one of the better secondaries that we see. They challenge you. They play with good technique. They play with confidence. They're physical. They do a good job on competitive plays, tracking the ball, playing the ball in the air. Safeties are good tacklers and aggressive. Just a complete football team. And really, honestly, have been that way for quite a while. This isn't just the first year. I mean, Dave's had these guys. They've been in a bunch of bowl games in a row. They've won a bunch of big games, and obviously they won the division last year. You don't get lucky and win the division. And that same group, for the most part, is back. I think they're elite at receiver. They've got really good skill, guys that can. Run, catch, change direction, really understand the nuances of the position. Some veteran guys that have played a lot of ball there. Both backs are outstanding. Really, got 3 backs. The third back had a good day on us last year. So it's a good group from top to bottom, all across the board, and will be a big challenge for us. But we're super excited. It's going to be our first noon game. So, having that, turn around and kind of, as we prepare our schedule of preparation, it will be a different thing, but I'm sure it'll be a great crowd, blackout and all that. But our guys are excited about the challenge and the opportunity to stay in control of our destiny. I mean, we can't go to Wake and win the division. Can't lose it either, but you can't win it, and but you can stay in control, and that's what we prefer. That's the strategy that you'd like to have, and not have to sit around and kind of hope this happens and hope that happens. You'd like to stay in control of your own destiny, and to do that, you got to go on the road and you got to win against good football teams. So this is a nationally ranked team for a reason, and we'll have to play well. Probably play our best game to this point. Any questions?
Coach, Wake's had one of the better offenses in the country the last couple of years, but y'all have really stifled that offense. What's been the key to really blowing up that slow mesh RPO that they've got?
Well, they score 42 points a game, and every one of the top scoring offenses last year, I think going in our game last year, they were leading the country in 30-plus yard plays. So they're explosive, and they're built to score. And it is unique because it creates a lot of conflict. I mean, and then you got a guy like Hartman who's, he's like a coach out there, and he knows where the manipulation is. He knows where the matchup is, and he'll hold that ball, to the last second. Honestly, I mean, we have. I think what has helped us more than anything is just playing complementary football. Because that's been the key. When we've been able to get them out of their rhythm and out of their game plan, just by kind of complimenting, getting some stops. I think last year we had, I think 4 straight stops, punt, and then we come out, we hit, we get some points, and got up. I think it was 17-3. And then all of a sudden, with our defense, it kind of gets them out of their plan a little bit, maybe out of rhythm. And, that's been more the key than anything. We've played a lot of complementary football against them. And so, that's what it takes. I mean, it can't just be defense because they're going to make plays. I mean, this is, like I said, they score on anybody. I mean, they're really, really good. They will make plays, so we have to complement our defense. We've got to be efficient on offense. We've got to be sound in the kicking game. You got to win that battle within the battle. You don't want to put these guys on short fields. So, we've done a good job up front. I think our guys have been disruptive in the trenches. We've made some competitive plays, and that's what this game comes down to. So, again, you got a lot of the same people, man. They're really good up front. We're good in the D-line. I think they're really good in the D-line. We're much improved in the offensive line. So, it kind of starts there. And then I think, again, just complementary football. Not be one-dimensional and think you're going to hold up against these guys.
Do you know what Dacari's reasoning was for deciding to?
I don't think he liked where he is, depth chart. And, again, that's as I said the last time, it's 2022. That's really not much of a story anymore to me, to be honest with you. That's going to be a every year deal in college football. Great kid, really good kid, and very talented, really talented player, and has a bright future. He's just got to continue to mature and grow and really commit to being the best he can be. But he can do it for sure. So he just, nothing negative. I mean, he loved his time here and appreciated, everybody. He just guys aren't patient much anymore. So just kind of, again, that's the world we live in. So just wish him well and keep moving.
Coach, is Bryan handling things about as well as anyone could hope to?
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's been yesterday was a tough, long day for sure, and he's been through a lot. I mean, it's been a long journey, but certainly kind of culminating with the Furman game, and then 4+ days in the hospital, all day, every day, and just the emotions of that, and then the closure that comes with it, with just yesterday, and so it'll be this will be something he'll deal with for the rest of his life for sure. But he's got a great support group, got an amazing family. They really, and I think Ella, just her words, her joy, things she wrote. Hopefully they can all take some peace in that. But we certainly keep our arms around him, and I know he's looking forward to getting back with his teammates and playing some ball.
Dabo seen Wake didn't maybe do as much slow mesh last week. What kind of challenges did they present outside of that?
Well, I mean, you know, they've always had a little bit of a mixture. You know, they don't always run the slow mesh. I mean, they'll run some normal stuff too, but the biggest challenge is just their explosiveness. I mean, those guys outside and the combination of the back. I mean, there's a lot of conflict with your backers, you know, because you want to come get them, right? But you know, as soon as you do, if they're blocking you up front, it creates huge gaps and huge windows to throw the football. And he's a savvy, accurate thrower. You know, so it's just and then same thing at safety. You got to be really patient. You got to have your eyes on the right things, and you got to be very, very disciplined at that position because there's just a lot of conflict going on. So they mix it up, you know. They mix it up, and again, they create and force matchups because of the nature of how they play. You can't, you know, Hartman is so good and smart. You can't, if you just throw one pitch at him, you're in trouble. You know, you have to be multiple. You know, you've got to change it up. You know, you gotta disguise things. Yeah, you know, and that's always been a part of it. But they always have a good plan. And again, it's still going to be based on what they do, and that's running the ball and the RPOs off of it, and then the shots and making competitive plays, double moves. You know, again, a lot of play action protection. You know, that creates space and gaps in coverage.
Coach Collins was hopeful that Sheridan would be able to go. Do you have an update on him? And out of all those guys that missed the game last week, is there anybody you definitely know will not play?
I think we're in a much better spot. We're not going to put out a list until you know, we'll do our availability list on Saturday, but we're in a good place. You know, guys are we're getting some guys back. We've got a couple guys that, you know, just like any time of the year, you got some guys that may be game day type decisions day to day, but you know, right now we like where we are.
Coach, Shipley had 139 yards the other day, but only 12 carries. How much of a benefit is it having those other guys, Pace and Maffa, as productive as they are, not only keeping Will's legs fresh late in games, but as you go deep into the season?
You know, it's critical. I mean, you know, I mean, he's averaging a bunch of yards per touch right now. I mean, however he touches the ball, I mean, he's an explosive player. But yeah, being able to keep him fresh is and again, the totality of the season, hard to do that if you feel like there's a big drop off. Right, but we have the same thing. I think we got the same thing at back that we have at DN. You know, as XT comes back, you know, we got four grown men that can flat out play the position, and obviously only two can go out there. So the fact that you don't have a lot of drop off, and Kevin ain't no slouch either. So the fact that you don't have a lot of drop off there, and you can sub, it allows you. It's good for the totality of the season, but freshness of the game, you know, explosive plays, you know, just it helps you there. And I think we have the same thing at running back. I think, you know, Shipley has and they're different. They're different, but they all will have that game as we go through the season. They all will, every single one of them. There's going to be a game where Maffa's going to go off. And everybody's going to be like, man, get that guy the ball more. And then there's going to be a game that Kobe had an unbelievable game in this game last year. I mean, he had 100-something yards, I think. Yeah, there you go. He had a big game. So he's going to have multiple games where he just that's just kind of where we are. We're really fortunate, really blessed with those three guys, and trust them. They work hard. They complement each other. You know, Shipley is different for sure. I mean, he just brings a passion and an energy that I think lifts everybody, and he's just relentless. But you know, all those guys will have opportunities to help us.
Did you say XT is back or when he comes
He's coming back. Yeah,
Saturday.
maybe. Maybe. I'm hopeful.
You still, who keeps your touch chart now that your sons are all?
Yeah, I got one of our staffers on the sideline that I just give it to every week that keeps it. He just so I can look at it.
Is there an optimum number, like at halftime, hypothetically for like Shipley? And what
Well, not as much, because again, you might have you score in two plays, so it's not always that simple. We had two 30-plus yard touchdown, one play drives the other day. So, that affects things. It's more about feel of the game, and sometimes we make it too hard, right? Maybe we're struggling or something, but you look down and you're like, man, let's get this is about players. It's not plays, it's players, and let's make sure we're getting those players opportunity to touch the ball. So I've just always been mindful of that, and that just goes back to, and then what's happening on first and second down, on both sides. I've always just try to have a feel for inflow of the game, but it goes back to very beginning as an interim, when I didn't think we were using C.J. Spiller the way we needed to, and and I think that was part of him coming back too, because I told him, I was like, and we demonstrated that the latter part of the game. I'm like, man, we're making this way too complicated. Let's get the ball to the guys who can make play. I mean, you got to block and all that stuff, but players make plays, and if you don't give them opportunity to make plays, how are they going to do it? So always trying to create matchups and one-on-one matchups and take shots and but it's all predicated through the run game. So, I remember back in those days, I came in one half, we were struggling. I looked down, C.J. Spiller's got like 2 touches. I'm like, or I didn't even have a touch chart. I was like, how many touches? Oh, he had like 2. I'm like, well, what is wrong with us? We've lost our mind here. And so I ended that. Starting that next week and going to Boston College, I'm like, we're gonna have us a touch chart here, and I'm gonna make sure that we're forcing the ball where it needs to go, and giving guys the opportunity to make plays. And so I've just always, kept up with that, and getting guys engaged. Sometimes guys can get frozen over on the sideline. So sometimes you just have to create opportunity for a guy to get the ball. And then sometimes you just have a special player that's a problem that you got to create mismatches for. But we just try to have some balance. And again, some years you have, one guy that's just better. And some of these teams we play, they got one guy. The others are okay, but they got one guy. We fortunately have always, past years, that's what's made us so good is we've had more than one guy. We've been able to attack you lots of different ways. We have multiple guys who can make plays, and so that creates, the type of balance and selflessness and those type of things that I think wins at the highest level. So anyway, that's why.
As Antonio has produced thus far and also shown an ability to get open,
Yeah.
is his name becoming more prominent on that touch chart that you're?
Oh yeah, he's we've got 5 or 6 guys at receiver that we feel great about, and we're in a good spot. We got obviously getting Adam back is huge, and bringing him, continuing to get him going, and then got us making some plays. It's been good to see that. We're doing some good things in all areas. Antonio's made a couple big plays just off of scrambles. He's a very alert kid and a very instinctive guy. Bo's the same way. Bo's had 2 touchdowns off of scrambles. And that's how you win. I mean, it's not always going to be perfect. You got to get players make plays, and DJ's been so much better. But man, we're really pleased with Antonio, and he is proven that he can be a guy that we can count on. And the lights aren't too bright, and so to go along with Bo and Speck and Ngata and Adam. I think we've got an EJ. We're trying to get him, where he needs to be. He's struggled in camp as far as injuries and coming back, and then banged up. And I think it's just kind of got him back a little bit. We got to get him going. But we got a good little group, good little group of guys, and that I think can go and win.
I guess the secondary's kind of been up and down, had some good moments, maybe some not.
Yeah, they've done a lot of good things. Biggest disappointment there is we've had some busts. Guys are going to make competitive plays. That's football. I mean, there's not any team in the country who doesn't give up a competitive play. That play on Toriano last week, I mean, hey, that's great experience for him. He's right there. I mean, kid made a good play, good throw. The one on J. Lou, man, he's right there. You just got to learn. You got to play the ball. But they made some plays. You're going to have some the play on Fred. Poor press technique, gets beat inside, and the guy makes a good throw, and he's right there. You're gonna have some competitive plays. Everybody's got good players, but it's when you just bust, and your eyes aren't on some basic stuff. Okay, they got trips in the boundary, and we don't have our eyes on number 3, and we just turn number 3 loose on a vertical. And it's just. I mean, pitch and catch, right? Those are things that frustrate you. We got a zone pressure called, and we got a guy that's not where he's supposed to be in the hook, and guess where they throw it? Right where that guy's supposed to be, and then we miss the tackle, and so it's a 40-yard gain because we got 3 guys that miss tackles. So people make plays. We got to clean up some tackling. There's been some big plays that have come from missed tackles where we could have covered up some mistakes. But it's just discipline in our drops. We got some drop 8 stuff where all of a sudden we don't have a guy that should be picking the outcut on 3rd and 11, but he's not getting where he's supposed to be. And so just discipline in your zone stuff, a little more technique cleanup in our man stuff, and then just our eyes. Having your eyes on the right things and not getting nosy. So, I mean, we're a work in progress for sure, but we've done a lot of good things. Big thing is we've kept them out of the end zone, and so that's been a positive. But certainly a lot of room for improvement, and I love the fact that we've been able to. Last week was awesome. That was a positive, being able to get J. Lou and Toriano, the amount of work that we've been able to get them. Koval's been able to get in there and get some work, because we're going to have those guys. I mean, those guys are they're going to have to play a lot as we go through the season. It's a long year, and they're really talented, and so the experience that they've been able to get is just going to make them better, because that's how you get better, is to gain some experience, good and bad, and continue to develop that.
Coach, the speed with which Wake snaps the ball will this, I guess, be the biggest challenge for Wes as far as getting the plays in on defense?
They mix it up, really. I mean, they're kind of like us. They've got multiple tempos. They're not always 100 miles an hour. They'll mix it up and change it, And so I think a lot of times, depending on the type of success that they may be having, will dictate how fast they want to play. But we'll be ready.
Dabo, what did you think of Chase Brice's latest heroics?
Man, I called him and said he and I need to go to Vegas, like right now. Man, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And his comment was, winners win, and I loved it. That's Chase to the core, man. He's a winner, and just I really, really happy for him. Really proud of him, and he's just he's a great young man, and has just become a great leader. For them, you can just see everybody around. They all believe in him, and he's just one of those guys that finds a way. He finds a way. That's who he is. Love that guy, man. He's a good one. He's a good one.
Coach, Will Putnam, ACC Lineman of the Week. I guess you have to be as pleased as you could be with the way he's, since last spring when you decided to make the move, to how nicely he's filled a big need for you.
Yeah. Will is one of the most dedicated, most committed players we've had come through here since I've been at Clemson. I mean, he's the epitome of what you want. He's the epitome of all in, and he's just a very conscientious kid. He's a grinder. He's committed in every area of his life. He's incredibly smart. He's tough as they come, and you win with guys like that all day. And I go down with a guy like that too. I mean, you're going to get every ounce of everything he's got every single week from a discipline standpoint, a preparation standpoint, an effort standpoint. I mean, he's going to do things the way he's coached to do them. Just really, just a great, teammate, great leader, and really proud of him. But he's just like our group has gotten better all 3 games. So it was good to see that and see him be recognized.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom?
Yeah, I've got one. Coach, I wanted to ask about the injury front, just because I know that last year this team had really rotten luck with injuries, and it seems like the team is holding up a little better this year, and I was just wondering if you could kind of compare how the team is doing this year and sort of what lessons might have been learned from having to go so deep on the roster in 2021.
Well, I mean, I don't know if as much as lessons learned is just, kind of, it was just our time, if you will. I mean, it was, they say Murphy's Law, right? If it could go wrong, it did. And we've been so successful for a long time, but not that we've been perfect, but we've been able to be relatively healthy. And number one, and then number two, as we've had injuries, we've had good depth, and we've had guys ready to play, and that has been demonstrated, all the way. Think about Dexter Lawrence. I mean, it wasn't an injury, but he was out for Cotton Bowl and the national championship game, and we had guys ready to go. So that's been the biggest thing for us, is having guys ready from a depth standpoint. We were just talking about Chase Brice, and him being ready to come in and win a game in 2018. So, but last year was just, really inexplainable. I wish I could tell you it was one thing, because it wasn't. If it had been one thing, it would have been easy to point your finger. But it was a lot of fluky, freaky things all across the board. We've been much better. We've been, again, every team's going to have guys that could be out a week here or there or miss some days. But from a season-ending type injury situation like we dealt with last year, it's been a better start. So hopefully that can continue to be the case for us. And our guys have really bought into what we asked them to do, training-wise and wellness-wise, and flexibility and prehab and rehab and all that stuff. Our guys do a great job, but we're no different than anybody else. You'll always have that injury report week in and week out where you got a guy here, a guy there. But long term, as far as the season and those type of things, we're in a good spot.
Dabo, I know you said on your Paula show the other day and we still listen to that song. But
Y'all still listen to that?
Occasionally. I know you said that y'all track everything. I was just wondering, analytics-wise, like how much does that kind of play in to what you've done, to what y'all do, and has it changed it all over the years?
It's just changed it because you just have access to more information and things like that. But it still comes down to your just in-game decisions and guts, feels, and the computer doesn't understand how that defense is playing or this person that's injured or all that stuff. So we look at everything, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to people.
You said you talked to Clausen a lot over the years. Just curious, with college football headed toward like a separation between the haves and have-nots, what do you think Wake Forest place is? Not that it's your job to worry about them, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on. I know where you think Clemson's headed, but what about the schools that aren't as fortified, I guess, and aren't as serious about?
Yeah, there's always going to be a place for everyone. I think in college football, as there's a restructuring somewhere down the road, I don't know, but Wake Forest is a top 20 program. It's just they are, and they've done that. So I think it's a place that has proven they know how to win, and and they maximize what they have. And I think continuing to invest in football, I think they realize that football is a great front porch for their university as well. So Wake Forest is an outstanding program. I don't see that changing.
Coach, I thought it was interesting. DJ told me after the game that the loss of Ella kind of gave him a new outlook and perspective on life. Really made him grateful for every day and want to make the most of every day. Obviously, most of these players haven't lost somebody so close to their own age. Have you seen a lot of introspection like that from your players?
Absolutely. I mean, this is as tragic as this has been. It's given us, the opportunity to have some, real life conversations, way beyond football. As I said the other day, these guys aren't robots. They're not, androids. They're real people, and and they're not perfect. I'm not perfect. None of y'all are perfect. We all have flaws and mistakes, but it's one of these times in life where you have a chance to have some, deep conversations, and men aren't always, vulnerable, right? And so a lot of vulnerability, a lot of just good life perspective, and I think we all can learn from Ella. This sweet girl. She had written a letter, and she's just talked about how bad cancer was. Yes, it's bad, but she said, I have a choice, and I choose to have a great attitude, and I'm going to make the best of each day, and I'm going to, it was just amazing. And then she talked about how cancer changed her. This is a 15-year-old girl, and she's like, cancer has changed me. And then she just goes on, and she's basically telling everybody, she goes, don't hold grudges, love the sport you get to play, appreciate that. She talked about, your family and telling the people you love that you love them. And she just, it was just awesome. And I think, moments like this, as tragic as they are, we all know that time is coming for all of us at some point, and it's one of those things you kind of block out. But you have to live. You have to live each day, and live it to the fullest. And I think to do that, you have to love, and you have to forgive. And as Ella said, don't hold grudges, and have a true appreciation of today, because that's all we got. None of us are promised tomorrow. None of us. Our equipment manager, GA, Noah Harvin. Noah, mom's coming up here to see him last Friday, and gets in a horrible car wreck and passed away this weekend. She didn't survive. And this is, Noah's got a twin sister. He's got a great family. He's from down there in the Sumter area, and just devastating. Devastating. I think the funeral's tomorrow for his mom, and so these are opportunities for everybody, young and old, to truly gain perspective on what's important, how we should live our life, how we should treat people, how we should, process things, and again, just try to find joy in the journey and find joy in every moment that comes our way, because we can't do anything about yesterday, right? There's no hope for that, and we're not promised tomorrow. So what is there, like 1,440 minutes today? Is that what we got? So just win the day. Just win the day, and because if we all knew this was our last day, how would we live? You'd probably call somebody and tell them you love them, right? And so if we try to live that way, it makes the whole world a better place. And I think Ella exemplified that, right in the midst of the fight of her life, and how hard it was. She was an inspiration, and just joyful to everyone every single day, and thankful for every single day that she had.
All right. right, as we wrap up here, before everybody heads out, I wanted to call someone to the front real quick. I didn't realize he was going to be here. Al Adams, you can come to the front real quick for me, please. Got a little bit of an impromptu presentation. So for those of you who don't know, Al had served Clemson in some kind of full-time or part-time capacity since at least 1975, when I could find this photo of this handsome young man. He was supposed to come to the spring game. Coach had signed a helmet for him, thanking him for his dedication to Clemson as he had moved on to Tennessee to be a grandparent. But he's here today, so Al, thank you for everything you've done for Clemson.
Yes, nice flow back in the day, man. Looking good. Looking good right there.
Thank you all for being here.
Okay, appreciate it. See y'all in Winston-Salem. What's your